Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, we are going to be reacting to Miguel versus Kwon. And honestly, I never really feel like we got an actual answer for who is better or who would be who in the fight, just because we really only seen like a few moments between them. It was only a few moments between them, and then the camera or the scene would either shift to Robbie versus Kwon, or literally it would just be over. You see what I mean? We only seen Kwon score 1 point of Miguel, but it was never like a full-on fight. So I don't feel like, honestly, in my opinion, Miguel beats Kwon. Miguel beats Kwon, honestly. Like, just the based on performances and what was going on, I'm pretty sure that Miguel probably could have beat Robbie. The one that locked in against Kwon. I'm pretty sure that same Miguel probably could have beat Robbie. I'm not gonna lie. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys want more Cobra Kai content here on the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Throw on the notification bells. And with that being said, let's hop into it.
Kwon versus Miguel. These two are probably the two best students when it comes to Cobra Kai, with Kwon embracing Kim's teachings to the fullest, while Miguel embraced both Danny and Johnny's teachings. Out of all the anticipated fights, we sadly didn't get this one, with the closest thing being when they were all fighting as a team and Kwon scored a point on him. But of course, in the world of Cobra Kai, scoring a point isn't everything, and this match in particular is very, very close, and a lot closer than you may think. Before we talk about part 2 scaling though, let's briefly touch up on where they were at going into season 6, and before anything as well, be sure to go and subscribe to Strife's channel, which I'll be leaving linked down below. So Miguel, despite losing to Robbie, barely did so in a very, very close spar, showing that these two are virtually neck and neck when they are both locked in. We know as well that the students are better than ever, meaning their prep for the tournament allowed them to surpass their season 5 variants despite the time span being so little. A lot of people like to argue that Miguel peaks at like season 2 before season 6, but in all honesty, he might have surpassed his version of himself by the time of season 4 or by the end of season 3. It was
honestly, this version of Miguel that was in the house fight, I don't think he was stronger than his season 2 self. I feel like his season 2 self probably beats this season's version. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I say that our season 2 Miguel might, like, probably season 2, season 4. I would say probably might be I think his peak. I would say no, not season 4, because season 4 Miguel, if he hadn't got the back injury, probably would have beat Hawk and might have beaten Robbie. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure. I would say 100%. I'd say 100%. But yeah, so, and he was mentally nerfed in, so I'm pretty sure that the capabilities of Miguel probably, like, it's so hard to scale him because of season 2. Like, because of what happened with season 2, like, we don't know, like, what a timeline would have looked like if he just wasn't mentally nerfed because he had, like, that back injury. So yeah, but I think that both of these guys are relative. Both of these guys are relative, and honestly, Robbie and Miguel are relative. So I'm pretty sure it's kind of easy to figure out who would win if they really did fight.
Shown after he found his resolve and will to fight again, his back has never been better, and he'd go on to master an entirely new style, which Johnny admitted to Daniel would make him stronger. Since then, and even after discovering who his father really was, Miguel had nothing holding him back mentally anymore, and we see in season 6 he and Robbie, like I said, are virtually neck and neck, and you may be able to argue that Miguel was holding himself back because he was too, worried about school. But I feel like this is kind of silly because this would be more reason for Miguel not to hold back on Robbie, and they make that clear when showing the spar. And also, Johnny just says that the fight could have gone either way, and in his words, he choked.
Now, Kwon in part 1, despite only having one fight, does actually have pretty decent scaling. Kim claims that all the Cobras here are better than Kreese's students, meaning at least Yoon Do-jin should be above season 5 Tori by a decent bit, considering he's their best student. Once Kreese tells Kwon to take initiative, he not only managed to embarrass Yoon, but also soundly defeats Chung-hee and Min-sol, which pretty much means that Kwon is no-selling fighters that should be decently above Tori. Robbie and Miguel, I think, are both above her. However, by this point, to say it's to the same degree as Kwon, honestly there's no real answer to this, which should at least show that even before the tournament, the show is implying that this guy is definitely going to give him or Miguel trouble, and he managed to make them both struggle. We see in episode 6, Miguel and Kwon initially do engage in a fight, but it's really nothing to show that one is above the other. It just proves to more what I was saying earlier, and that they are relative. Kwon would then proceed to engage with Robbie, who while focused seems to be able to beat Kwon, but once Robbie starts seeing Tori, this allows Kwon to embarrass Robbie. is literally losing to people who aren't even captains, similar to Eli in the All Valley before he got his confidence back.
So pretty much Kwon taking down Robbie after he sees Tori means virtually nothing for the matchup because Robbie is significantly nerfed. Like, it's to the point where Kenny is able to beat up fighters that are fighting relative with Robbie. It's that bad. Miguel even calls him out on this and has to pick up on his slack. Now, Miguel, like I said, is pretty much neck and neck with Robbie going into part 2, while Kwon seems to be just a bit below this version of Robbie, at least the one going into the tournament. However, we do see after Robbie is able to regain his focus when he faces Kwon again, Robbie is able to beat him in a straight one-on-one confrontation. Now, before this, Kwon was able to score on Miguel and eliminate him, and mind you, this was also after he just got done eliminating Sam, but we have to remember that Kwon already is relative to Miguel. Him scoring the point, in my opinion, doesn't mean Miguel would lose in a straight-up confrontation. If anything, it would just prove to what me and Strife said earlier and the fact that they are relative. And this is more consistent with what we see in the finale, as Robbie and Miguel both combat Axel, who we kind of see deal with Kwon with no issue. But the issue is that Miguel and Robbie themselves don't really scale to Axel either. It's really weird.
But he should be more bloodlusted against Miguel due to him gunning for him the whole season. Kwon as well in the finale does show he's definitely not neck and neck with Robbie, considering that he has to straight up jump Robbie after he was already taking heavy hits from Axel, and he manages to beat him once again along with Yoon, which by the way Axel did manage to do earlier pretty casually.
And honestly, I want to say right here, when Miguel tagged Robbie in, he didn't even look worried. Like, of course he got upset because he got a point on him. But he didn't look worried at all. Like, I'm pretty sure, he tagged Robbie in as more of like yo, this is your chance. Like, yo, do it. Like, lock in. Like, this is your chance to be able to do something. Like, he didn't want to take, like, too much away. I'm pretty sure Miguel could have beat him because if that Miguel is relative to Robbie, if and if Robbie and him were on the same level and Miguel was or Robbie was nerfed, then that same Robbie and that same Miguel both literally, honestly, when Robbie was fighting him, it was like a mid-diff. Like, I don't even think Kwon scored a point. Like, he really didn't even do anything crazy once Robbie locked in. Like, as soon as Robbie locked in, it was literally like a mid-diff. Like, he was literally making it hurt. Like, Robbie could have ended the fight so many different times, but he was so confident and in control of the fight that there was no way that I believe that same Robbie could probably do the same thing to Miguel. Like, Miguel probably could do the same exact thing to Robbie. He could literally, or to Kwon. He could literally make it hurt. Honestly, in my opinion, I think that Miguel probably beats Kwon. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Miguel versus Kwon would go, like, I think that Kwon could probably beat him. Like, if it was out of 10, Miguel's probably beating Kwon 6 out of the 4 times that they fight. You see what I mean? I feel like he'd have, like, the advantage in a lot of fights because Miguel's gone against people like Kwon before. Like, the first All Valley champ, he did a whole bunch of kicks and flips and stuff like that. Same thing that Kwon does, honestly. Like, very similar styles, very acrobatic in the way that they move. And Miguel literally, like, mid to no diff that kid. Literally, with only one style of karate. So there's no reason, there's no thought in my mind. Not saying that both of their styles are similar because they're definitely different in a lot of different ways. But I just want to say, there is no doubt in my mind that anything that Kwon could try and throw at Miguel, he doesn't already know. You see what I mean? Like, nothing that he could really try and do, whether it's like any crazy kicks or flips or any crazy acrobatics or any just techniques that Kwon might have been ready to pull out that Miguel hadn't seen before. Honestly, in my opinion, like, literally, he was literally mid to no diffing people in the tournament with styles that he hadn't even seen before. So there's no doubt in my mind that whatever Kwon could have thrown at him, he was going to be able to beat. So
now that we've broken down the scaling, let's see who'd win. These two fought in the finale. I believe Kwon would probably get beat 6 to 7 out of 10 times. Not only is Miguel much closer to Robbie in skill, but he did fight the most enraged version of Axel. Again, Axel is stronger than all 3 of them. I'm not saying that these 3 scale to him, but out of the 3, Miguel did fight the most enraged version of the character.
It also just looks really bad when Kwon has to sneak and jump Robbie only to absolutely fail in the end. In a point v point setting, or specifically in the Sekai Tekai, it is possible that Kwon could get the win like how Robbie did in his bar with Miguel, or like how Kwon did straight up in the tournament.
Yeah.
But if they were to fight in the actual brawl with no tournament rules and it's just street rules, Miguel, I feel like, would ultimately come out on top. But let us know down below your thoughts in the comments, along with different matchups that you would like to see me and Stripe cover in the future.
Honestly, with oh snap, crap. Let me make sure this is fixed. Okay. Honestly, with this, I say personally that Miguel, I literally, like he said, 6 or 7 times out of 10, which is true. Like 6 or 7 times out of 10, like it's not like it's a crazy gap. Like I would definitely say it's not like a crazy gap, and people probably overhype Kwon to where, like, you know, he probably seemed like this just impossible juggernaut. But in all actuality, like he was what he was meant to be in the series. And personally, there's no doubt in my mind that, and like he said in the video, there's no doubt in my mind that he could beat him. I just wanted to finish that thought, but there's no doubt in my mind that if there was a tournament like base setting, Kwon could probably beat Miguel. Literally, like he said in the video, Kwon could probably beat Miguel, like a sport, like the type of match that him and Robbie had. But literally, if it was in the brawl, Miguel's coming out on top. But even then, Miguel's probably still going to come out on top. Especially because we've seen that the more a fight goes on, the longer the fight goes on, Kwon is probably going to lose. Literally. Like he's gonna get frustrated because all of the crazy things that he is trying to do literally is not working. You see what I mean? Like he's not a long-winded fighter. He's not a long-winded fighter. And honestly, Miguel is literally built for long fights. He's built for long fights. He keeps his composure long enough in fights like that to be able to do be able to come out in those fights, especially when it came to Robbie, when it came to Axel. Like he was literally going against the craziest version of Axel, and he was getting beat. He was getting beat. But I feel like he was probably doing a better job than Kwon was. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think down below. Honestly, I feel like this is going to be a very controversial video, but feel free to tell me your guys' thoughts down below. If you guys think that Kwon is better, drop a 1. If you guys think that Miguel is better, drop a 2. Personally, I'm dropping a 2. I'm dropping a whole bunch of 2s all day. Wait. Well, I'm dropping a 2 for Miguel. I mean, no. Miguel's probably beating Kwon, but let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.